What is up, my good people? I wish you a warm welcome to the WASD YouTube channel. If you like what we do click that nice subscribe button, and if you give us a like, something magical is gonna happen. Another week, another video, and boy, we have something delightfully amusing for you this time. Windows 10 is ancient history. Behold and welcome its love child with macOS, aka Windows 11. They were ultra creative with the name and dubbed it Windows Next. That's some godlike imagination, right? While I was messing around with the magical piece of software, I decided to make a tutorial for you good folks on how to install the OS yourself. Let's leave a note here, as this is not the official version released by Microsoft, but a leaked build of the OS probably uploaded by some basement dweller. On June 24th, Microsoft will be holding a full presentation on Windows 11 during its press conference. To be completely frank with you, I couldn't install the system on a regular machine, so I used a VM to do so. There are a bunch of tutorials online on how to bypass the install error, but I simply did not want to go through the hassle. There is no point in doing so, as this version of the software will only appeal to those enthusiasts who really like testing new things, or those who have a few screws loose in their brains. My advice for the latter is to avoid installing this on your main PC, as this simply is not the official version, and even when the official version releases, it'll be probably full of bugs. So, do stay on Windows 7, 8, or 10, or install Windows 11 on a virtual machine, like myself, as waiting for Microsoft to fix the damn bugs is simply not worth it at the moment. Now let's get down to business and install this baby. All the links that I used to install Windows 11 are contained in the text file below. I know this is ultra sus, but please note we cannot post the links willy-nilly due to YouTube restrictions. It's up to you to decide whether you want the WASD virus that will steal all your data and sell your grandma on the black market. The whole process can be a bit ho-hum, yet simple for those who like to tinker with their OS a tad bit. In the first step, you have to enable virtualization in the BIOS settings in order to allow VirtualBox to install 64-bit operating systems. Intel fanboys have to enable VTX and VTD, while AMD devotees have to find the AMD SVM option. If you can't find this option in your BIOS, don't get all angry. Your CPU simply does not support virtualization. But hey, the OS is releasing soon anyways, and we'll be doing an in-depth review if this video fares well. Now that you set up virtualization, you're all set to download Oracle's VirtualBox. So, what are you waiting for? Head to Oracle's site and download the thing. Just click next like there's no tomorrow, and bingo, now you can finally try your grandpa's OS on your 2021 computer. When you open VirtualBox, you will be greeted by an interface that looks something like this. And now we can begin installing our VM. Just click on Machine, then Add, then give a nice name to your machine. No profanity, okay? Select Windows 10 64-bit and press Next. Memory allocation is up first, so you should check how much sweet RAM your machine sports and divide it by half, and you will get the approximate amount of RAM your PC should use for the virtual machine. The sweet spot is somewhere between 4 to 8 gigs, but duh, you can go with less if you enjoy a good slideshow. Just don't complain to Microsoft, and don't you even dare badmouth us, or something horrible is gonna happen to your dog, and we all know what happens afterwards. In our test case, I allocated 16 gigs as our machine has 32 gigs to spare. After that is done, obviously, you should click Next. Now, let's create a virtual hard disk by selecting this option in the middle. Pick VDI next, and please don't ask me why. Oracle's default virtual disk simply works best this way. You should then choose dynamically allocated storage, and this will take you to the final step. It's the same deal as with RAM. You can spare as much memory as you like, just bear in mind your hard disk's capacity. For the purpose of our little trial run here, I allocated 30 gigs, and that, my dear friends, should be more than enough if you simply want to test the marvel that is Windows Next. Now click Next, and presto changeo, you got yourself a fine new virtual machine. There's just a matter of making this thing actually functional, and I'm gonna show you how to do it in the next few steps. Open up the settings, select System, and click on the Processor tab. The divided by half rule applies here as well. Your PC won't melt if you allocate more cores, but better safe than sorry, I always say. If you have a toaster of a PC, please do not try this at home. Our CPU is fairly powerful, so I allocated 4 cores. Now, head on to the display tab and check 3D acceleration and crank that bad boy slider to the max. And that should make this VM fly like a Russian rocket. After you've finished here, the only thing left is to browse your Windows 11 ISO and you're done and done. The infected document we mentioned previously contains the link, so do check the description if you will. The storage tab below allows us to indulge in sweet piracy, so open it up and you'll see a disk icon on the right side of the window. You should see a drop-down menu like this one and just pick the second option as I did. Get that ISO file from your overflowing downloads folder and just hit OK. It's time to boot this bad boy up as the machine is ready. The installation is pretty much the same as any version of Windows that came out in the last decade. Choose your language. You can go with Chinese or something similar if you want a real challenge. In our case, we went with the default one. Hit the Install Now button and then politely tell Bill Gates you're gonna pirate the hell out of his OS. A big window pops up and there is a buttload of options you can choose from. My go-to choice is Windows 11 Pro, but we will cover other variations in an upcoming clip depending on how well this one does. The big Microsoft is always watching, so you will have to allow monitoring in the next step, so accept them in terms of service and click on Custom Install. It's gonna ask you where you want to install it, but you only have the one partition that we allocated at the start of this tutorial. Format the partition by clicking New and simply click Next. In the prehistoric days from which I hail, I remember waiting for an hour to install a version of Windows 98. Zoomer technology has truly come far, and these new thingies called SSDs get the job done in a matter of minutes. I'll fast forward so you don't even have to click the skip button. And behold, there's a new loading screen, and wow, there's also a new boot up sound. From here, it's pretty straightforward. Region selection is first, and I suggest that you leave this on default as it is simply the best Windows experience if you have a basic understanding of the language, plus most tutorials you will come across are in English. For now, you should skip adding a new keyboard layout as you can do that at any point. Tick the Setup for Personal Use option and click Next. We won't be signing into a Microsoft account, so please bear with me. Click on the Sign In options and choose Offline Account with Limited Experience. Enter your username, and you can leave the password field blank if you don't want to go for the hassle every time you boot up your machine. Now, we don't want Microsoft spying on us, right? Well, they'll be doing so anyway, but we want to untick all the privacy sliders. No, Bill Gates-san, please, don't take my soul. After you're done here, the brand new Windows environment should lie in front of you, and you can finally collect the fruits of your sweet labor. What's left is the final step, and this is completely optional, but I recommend it as it will improve your overall experience. So let's set up full screen mode. In VirtualBox, click on the Devices tab and choose the last option. Double click on this PC and VirtualBox Guest Editions should appear. Simply install the very first exe like I did and reboot your machine. Just hit Ctrl F and you should have yourself a virtual machine running in full screen now. If this does not work, you can simply resize the window with your mouse like I did just now. That's all, folks. In the coming days, you can expect a comparison video where we will pit Windows 11 against its daddy and see whether the curse that plagued every second release of Windows has been lifted. Windows 10 was supposed to be the last and ultimate version of Windows, but it seems Microsoft bamboozled us once more. Bear in mind that this is a leaked version and we're yet to receive an official release date. If you're an enthusiast willing to try this version, don't be a Karen, as there will most definitely be a buttload of bugs at this moment. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Help us grow our little community so we can throw more content like this your way. You can also leave your 2 cents in the comment section, as we really want to hear your thoughts and experiences with the new Windows. Until the next one, peace out.